Hello and welcome to In the QC, a podcast brought to you by the Quad Cities Chamber. If you aren't from here, I know what you're thinking. QC? That's where? The QC is the heart of the Midwest, a proud, forward-thinking family of communities connected by one of the world's most renowned rivers, the Mississippi. The region attracts returners and explorers, investors, and entrepreneurs because it offers the well-being and comforts of the accessible, the homegrown, and the local, combined with an inventive imagination that embraces arts, businesses, and global aspirations. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us for episode 4 of In the QC. I'm your host, Lo, and I am so excited for this episode. In the studio today, I have the Vice President and Director of the Marketing and Sales team at the Quad Cities Chamber. As you guys know, I am also a member of the Marketing and Sales team at the QC Chamber, and so this is going to be very fun for me because I get to talk about the work I do each day. So, without further ado, I'm going to have my two guests introduce themselves.
Well, hey, Lo. It's so great to be here today. It's fun to be on this side of the microphone instead of on the back end looking in. I'm Jennifer Walker. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Sales for the Quad Cities Chamber. I'm in what we call my 2.0, so this is my second stint working at the Chamber. And I've been here about 3 years in this stint and about a year and a half previously. So my role in the organization is to help talk about what a great place the Quad Cities is and to share the story of what the Chamber does. And so our department handles marketing, communications, public relations, media relations, events, and investor relations and sales. So we've got a lot of work to do just supporting the efforts of our team.
That's a whole lot of hats, Jen Walker.
It's all good. It's all fun.
It is fun. It is. JV?
So I am Jennifer Verscha. I go by JV because I'm the junior varsity of the team, since there's two Jens here. I've been here at the Chamber for about a year. And before that, though, I've helped the Chamber for, probably 15 or more years. And so I've been able to help bring those things to fruition. So I was able to help volunteer over the years in doing some videos and campaigns. And actually, fun fact, the original brand logo messaging of the Quad Cities Chamber. So glad to be here, glad to be on the team, and glad to be able to help now. Help facilitate the marketing in the direction that the Chamber is going. So it's exciting times.
Jen, it's really interesting that you talk about how you've been involved with the Chamber for so long, because even though I've only worked for the Chamber for a few years, I also have been volunteering and involved with the Chamber and really promoting the region as a whole, as I know all of us have, right? It's been our jobs kind of, and I think why we've been drawn to the Chamber is because we've been in active roles with promoting and being a cheerleader for the QC. So it's fun to do it at the greater regional level, not just for me. I started promoting and marketing in Rock Island, and so it's been fun to just kind of graduate up to the QC.
You know, what I love about all of us here sitting in the podcast studio today is we really are such big cheerleaders for the Quad Cities, and that extends even past our work at the Chamber. So we all have ties to either different cities within the Quad Cities, different organizations, volunteering. It feels so good to have coworkers and teammates that love the Quad Cities as much as I do, because that is a constant theme on this podcast of me gushing about, this amazing region, because I truly do love it so much. Jen Walker, in some of our other episodes, we've kind of discussed a little bit about what the Chamber does and our 3 pillars on our flywheel, creating a strong Chamber. Could you tell us a little bit more about how the marketing and sales team helps support the Chamber's voice and mission?
You bet.
Awesome.
Well, one of the great things that our team gets to do is we get to tell the story of what everybody else does, right? Because that's our job, is to storytell. And so just getting back to our flywheel, So the reason that one of the main goals of the chamber is to highlight that this is a great place to live, because more than ever, we understand that people are looking for great places to live. And so when it's a great place to live, that's going to attract people as well as retain the folks that are here. And then ultimately that helps to attract jobs, which then drives more business, so we can retain and expand our current businesses as well as to attract other businesses. So that's really the basis of our 3 pillars of work: business and economic growth, placemaking and place management, and talent attraction and development. And at the core of that is a strong chamber. So our work in advocacy, our finance and admin team, and then of course our marketing and sales team. So we get the job of really interacting with all of our teammates, right, and telling the story of what the value is to the chamber, and why the chamber is important for our community, but more importantly, how we are all moving in the direction of trying to create a prosperous regional economy where all can thrive.
You know, I love that phrase. That is one of my favorites. Whenever someone asks me, well, what's a chamber's mission? Can you break it out into just one sentence? That is my go-to answer. And another thing that I think is quite funny about the flywheel is often when I'm talking about it to people that maybe are outside of the chamber, they're just, Quad City region community members, they always ask, well, which one's your favorite? And it's so funny because my answer is always like, well, you wouldn't pick a favorite child, and they're all, just as important. We need each of them to help build that strong chamber, to help build that strong region. And Kyle Carter kind of said it best, that the flywheel really is a 3-pronged stool. And if one stool leg is shorter than the others, you don't want to sit on it, right? It's not going to work. It's not going to have its function. So I think that's always, quite interesting that people would think, oh, like, what's your favorite to work on? Because we are the storytellers in the sales and marketing team, but we love each of them equally, and we understand the value of them in the greater picture of our region and the chamber's mission. All right. Well, it's my time to once again gush about the region I love so much. So I did introduce myself to our viewers. I got to kind of tell my story about how I ended up working for an amazing organization like the Chamber. But I do kind of just want to touch a little bit more on what I do at the Chamber. So I'm currently the coordinator of social media and marketing. And that is such a fun title because not only do I get to help out with all of our social platforms, but I really get to lend a hand to some of our bigger marketing campaigns, which has been really, really fun for me. As most of you guys know, social media is such an important part to modern society today. I think I'm kind of that in-between generation where I remember what life was like before social media, but it also has been such a huge part of my life because right around my adolescence was when Facebook first came out, which I will say I was a MySpace girl before Facebook came out, but I guess that dates me a little bit as well. And the start of MySpace actually was what got me so interested in graphic design, interested in marketing. So I remember being 12 years old and coding my own MySpace layouts. If anyone remembers that you could do that, it's very cool. An app would, or that a platform would let you do that. But it was then that I was kind of building a brand for myself, right? And that kind of sounds funny, like a 12-year-old building a brand. But I had the freedom to create a visual representation of myself to do my own personal storytelling, which now, 15, almost 20 years later, that's something that I get to do every day, not only for the Chamber as an organization, but for my region. So it's been very exciting to kind of see the transition of a 12-year-old loving marketing, not really knowing what it was, to now being in my late 20s working for this organization and being able to use those platforms to amplify the voice of the Chamber, the voice of our region. So my job is very, very fun. I really do enjoy it. And it's been exciting to dive into new platforms like this podcast. This podcast we started just about 3 or 4 months ago. And it's been really interesting to see us just keeping up with the times, right? Because we know social media is such an important part of marketing. So I really do enjoy this team and I enjoy the work that I do.
Well, one of the great things I think that you brought with social media is, of course, our new TikTok channel.
Oh, yes.
And so I want to brag on you a little bit that we've got a fun new TikTok channel, and it's because of you that we have it.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
How can we find that if we're looking for it?
Yes, you can look us up on TikTok QC Chamber, and you'll find some very fun TikToks. We like to hop on some fun trends. We showcase all of our events. It's just, we have a lot of fun with that. And it's really been fun working with interns on creating this fun social media content. So please, if you have a TikTok, follow us, give us a follow, like our videos. They're very fun. And if you don't have TikTok, well, here's your excuse to download the app. But don't blame us if you start spending lots and lots of time on it, because it is quite addicting. Well, I think one of the coolest things that I've gotten to do on the sales and marketing team is be a part of the QC That's Where regional brand launch. That was such an experience, you guys. So before working at the chamber, I had gotten to work on branding releases and things like that, but in a very different way. It wasn't on a regional scale. It wasn't for a region. So I remember when we kind of started talking about, I know it was such a long process, but when we started kind of going down the path of finalizing the brand and all the things that I got to do on the back end with the social media side, man, there's just so many moving parts to that. I thought that was so cool. And of course, we have Jen Walker and JV here that worked so diligently on getting this brand out, and it's been a huge success so far. So I'm going to let these guys talk a little bit more about QC That's Where.
Excellent. Well, I'll maybe start us out, Jen.
So it's even hard to remember how long ago we started on this, but we realized in partnership with Visit Quad Cities, which is a separate organization, but they're our destination marketing organization here in the Quad Cities. So they're all about promoting folks to come visit, so tourists and conventions to come visit. So a great partner of ours. We realized that we didn't have a brand for our region. So when you think about the Quad Cities, there wasn't one look, one feel about the Quad Cities. And of course, there's always those age-old questions of what is the Quad Cities? So we embarked on this journey with Visit Quad Cities to come up with a brand for our region. And what's fun about this is, so Charlotte Morrison, sorry, I'm getting a call. I'm going to just silence that. It's the Rock Island mayor.
Just another day at the chamber.
Sorry. So what's interesting about coming up with this regional brand opportunity is that Charlotte Morrison,
Who's over at Visit Quad Cities, and I have been working around each other for a good 20 years, and we have always talked about how it'd be great to have this brand for our region. So we brought together a task force of community leaders and really started the conversation about what should we be as a region. And what developed is this QC That's Where brand. And so what I love about it is it's super flexible, and it really tackles the question of QC That's Where, because so many people, and our consultants who came in said anytime we asked folks to describe the Quad Cities, they spent all of their time talking about a physical location, so that it's
5 or 16 cities and it's 6 counties and it's on the river at Interstate 80. And actually nobody really cares about that. If you think about folks talking about other places that they live, they talk about the great amenities. Yeah. And so we're just able with this QC That's Where brand to really go into the heart of it, that we can make fun of ourselves. It's now QC That's Where 30 languages are spoken in school. That's where I call home. That's where one of my favorite breweries is located, Wake Brewing. Like there is so many things that you can take and use to that advantage.
Love that. I love that you can use it in so many ways, right? It could be that question mark. It can be that statement. I think having the flexibility to utilize that kind of slogan, that brand in so many different ways, not only helps us describe our region in a way that makes people want to come here, want to visit, want to move here, but it also allows each organization to kind of put their own spin on it too, right? I think that is a very cool route that we ended up going.
I agree. And so now Jen is really taking this marketing campaign and helping to attract businesses and people to the Quad Cities. And so I know that she's got a lot of exciting stuff that she's going to share.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back a little bit about how flexible it is and versatile it is. I think that, you guys kind of already hit it on the, right on the head, but it's great because it is, great use of explanation or question or statement. So you can use it in 3 different ways, whether it's, QC That's Where, like, really wanted to understand like where it's at, or more of a statement like QC, that's where you belong. It makes it really easy. And I also, like Lo said too, being able to be flexible in that it doesn't matter whether it's us, the chamber, using it, or it's Visit Quad Cities, or it's a business using it. We can all use it in tandem together and be able to explain or showcase like what the Quad Cities has to offer. I just think that it's great to be able to do all of those things. But yeah, Jen's right. I mean, we've been able to start showcasing the Quad Cities, not just obviously here locally to our own population. I think we all know how great our community is, and we want to tout about it and talk about it, but to be able to showcase it in a different way, where we can attract businesses and individuals to come to the Quad Cities. And we've been doing some really great research and trying to figure out like where we should market, who we should target, and the individuals that we should be looking at. And it's been quite interesting, I think, to be able to see like how people are moving or shifting, where they're coming and going from. And so we've been doing a lot of marketing and advertising in the Chicago area and in the Des Moines area. Ironically enough, that's where a lot of people are kind of shifting to and from, both either exiting the Quad Cities, which we don't want them to do, right? We want to keep them here, or moving from those places to the Quad Cities. So what that allows us to do is to hit boomerangers, somebody that maybe has left, but we want to bring them back, or to bring new residents to the Quad Cities. So whether it's, somebody that's looking to relocate, or whether it's a college student that's coming here to the Quad Cities already and trying to get them to come and stay. And so that's been kind of fun, digging in and diving in and seeing about those different types of people and like what they do and how we can market or advertise to those individuals.
Awesome. And real quick, JV, I love, you kind of touched on how the QC That's Where brand is really for not just community members, it's for the cities and the towns that are a part of our amazing region. And I remember that we have a toolkit on the QC That's Where website where we have some pre-made logos for all of the cities and things like that. So that would be, could you like talk a little bit about what that toolkit offers?
Yeah, you're right. We do on the QCThat'sWhere.com website. You can go there and you can pull off not only, I don't know if, can you? I don't know what camera to look at. If it's this one, right there, we need to go over here. But we do have our logo that is readily available on there, and it's in a variety of different things, whether it's just the QC in a circle, or if it actually says Quad Cities or the individual cities themselves too. Individuals can pull those off and use those how they need to or see fit. We also have our branding guidelines on there as well too, so it goes over the color palettes and the font usage, and there's even some examples, which is kind of great to be able to see like what other people are doing. The other nice thing I think that would be great is that you could go on there and help show your pride of the Quad Cities by going on and doing two things. One, you can request window clings, so you can go on and request those and we'll mail those to you, and there's 3 different colors that we can send out one of those to you.
Take one in every color, please.
Yes. And I've actually had a few that have requested those, and they've been putting them on their cars too. So not just a business, but I've been seeing those too on cars or even at your home. So you can definitely go and do that. And then also want to hear from individuals like, what is your QC That's Where? Like, why do you love the Quad Cities? What are you proud about? And tell us what your QC That's Where statement is. And you can submit those as well too online.
What's been cool about the submissions is some of the things we haven't even thought of, right? And we've been using those in our social. So it's been fun to see what other people think is great about the Quad Cities. Because although I'd like to say we know it all, we don't know it all.
Exactly. It's nice to get that fresh perspective, yes. Right? That's one of the reasons I love traveling, is because you get the opportunity to see a region or a city or, any place with a new set of eyes, right? Mm-hmm. And often I wish that I could experience, because I love the Quad Cities. Once again, I love the Quad Cities. I wish I could perceive it for the first time in my adulthood. Like right now, I wish I could just experience this region as someone who isn't from here, just to be able to see it in that light, because I think there is something really special about when you're new or have never been somewhere and you get to experience a really great community with really great people, with really great businesses and organizations working to make sure that it grows and thrives. There's something so magical about that. So I think that is very, very neat that that all of those resources are offered, JV, not just for, community members, but for newcomers to our area. And hopefully they all fall in love with this region as much as we love it. JV, thank you so much for speaking a little bit more on QC That's Where. I know you wear many, many hats in on the sales and marketing team as the director of marketing. Could you tell me a little bit more about the Chamber's efforts in attracting businesses to our area?
Sure can. And Lo, I think we all wear many hats.
We do. But I think that's what keeps it so much fun. There really is never a dull moment. There's never a project that doesn't need to be jumped in on. So it keeps life interesting and spicy. I love it.
That's for sure. So when it comes to marketing the Quad Cities, obviously we're not just trying to go out and get people to move to the Quad Cities, but we're trying to get businesses to bring their either new startup company, or maybe it's somebody that's expanding their business. And it could even be somebody that's here already and expanding, but really trying to just build that base. Obviously, the more people that we have, or the more businesses that we have, the better tax base that we're going to have. And what does that mean for all of us? Well, it means better schools, better roads. Not that we don't have all of those things now, but the more that we can bring in, the more that we can have as a community and that we can offer. The interesting thing too with the business side of things is been able to pinpoint the types of industries or the types of companies that we should be looking at and going after. Right. And so our area is really great with manufacturing. It's really great with the ag tech. It's really great for logistics or defense or corporate office. And so those are the types of businesses that we are looking at attracting and talking to either business professionals themselves or site selectors and getting them the information that they need about our community so that they'll want to move here and love it just as much as we do.
Right. I think it's been really exciting, the things that I've gotten to learn while being on the Chamber team. I've always known that the Quad Cities is in such a great location, but I don't think I ever realized just how easy it is to transport things in and out from the Quad Cities. So it makes sense why all of those industries would be a perfect fit for our region, because we really are kind of like the heart of the Midwest, right? It's really easy to bring things in and get things out. So I don't think I understood that in depth in the way that I now do, kind of being behind the scenes at the Chamber.
I love that you said that, though, because that is one of the things I think that we as a community don't really realize until maybe we've gone somewhere else, or maybe even people from outside the Quad Cities realize that, there's so many different ways that you can bring goods into the Quad Cities or out of exporting out. But that even for individuals that live here, our average commute time is 16 minutes. Where else can you live that you can get across town in 16 minutes and go between two states or multiple cities? Or I could be, sitting downtown somewhere and enjoying lunch, but then I could drive out to a friend's house who maybe lives out on a farm. It's just really interesting that you can get to and from where you need to go to really quickly and very easily.
The funniest thing about that, when I was a freelancer and working out of Los Angeles a lot, I think sometimes when you grow up in an area where you don't realize how different it can be in other areas. But after going to Los Angeles, you will never, ever hear me complain about traffic ever again. Because like you said, JV, I have family on the Illinois side. I live on the Iowa side. I have family in Eldridge. So across, the Quad Cities. And I can get from one family's house to the other family's house in under 20 minutes. I can never complain when in LA, it takes you an hour just to get, half a mile down the freeway sometimes. That is, I think, one of the best parts of the Quad Cities is we have such an array of different living situations. You can live in downtown, in the downtowns. You can get that kind of more city feel, or just 15 minutes outside of the downtown. You can have a homestead, you can have a farm, and you can get that country life where your neighbors never see you. It's just, I think we're really lucky to have that kind of living situation, because there's not a lot of people that can say that.
No, there's not, and it's kind of derailing this a little bit, I think, but I think it's important to talk about it, is that, QC, that's where it brings affordability. It's within reach.
Absolutely.
You can do the other things that you maybe wouldn't be able to do in a big city. But on the flip side, talking about being able to move to and from places easily, we're so centrally located that if you want to get a feel of that big city life and you want to get away for the weekend, you can drive to Chicago, you can drive to St. Louis, you can drive to Minneapolis, wherever. You can just drive wherever, and it's really not that far. I mean, it's usually within a couple of hours, and you can get there, and you can go over the weekend, and you can do your thing, whatever it is that you want to go do, and then you can come back home. And or if you have family, you know, it's the same with them. But that's also the same is true for goods and services. So if you're a business, you know, why not be here in the Quad Cities? Because you can have it all right here with the lower cost of living for your employees and your staff and for your business to be able to transport your goods and services to wherever they need to be.
Yep.
It's really a win-win, I feel like, for everybody.
You know what's so cool is we've just translated and transformed into marketing speak. Like, we are just doing our jobs right now. But what's really intriguing and what I think it would be great to share with the audience is this is the kind of stuff that we talk about all the time, right? This is what our jobs are all about. But one thing that we do know is that the QC Quad citizens are pretty humble folks, right? We know that we don't brag a lot. And so here we are bragging about how great our community is, but we really need everybody to do it.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that we have definitely learned as marketers is that our braggability score isn't as strong as it could be. And so I guess that's our challenge, right? We ask everybody who's listening to talk positively about this community and realize how wonderful it is. And if you are comparing it to other regions, what makes our community great? You know, being on the Mississippi River is wonderful. Having that short commute time, really being the number 6
most affordable place to live in the U.S. is amazing, but it does allow us to have that access that we need, right? So we can have a good paying job where we can own a home, have a family, and enjoy a solid quality of life where you can go out and enjoy arts and culture. It's a big thing for me, being able to enjoy the festivals and the fun aspects. And, you know, again, that's what we do every day, but we also want other folks to support us and talk about on their social media as well how great it is. And I know you have always encouraged that. So I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about how that can help influence others.
Absolutely. You know, I think the most important part of, you know, my life so far has really been just my love for the people around me and for this community. So growing up, I just knew how special it was to have happened to be born here, right? To have generations of family that have gotten to call the Quad Cities home. So I have always been a huge advocate for the QC, and the biggest thing I want to see is here's my call to action for all the viewers listening. My call to action is that you just take a moment to focus on the positives. Like, take a moment to focus on the things that you love that maybe people other places don't get to experience. And, you know, I have one of my sisters lives in Los Angeles, and she came to live here during the pandemic. And it was so cool to get to hear her perspective because, for one, she was absolutely astonished that I have a 4-bedroom house and the price tag that came along with that house in the Quad Cities. My backyard is like 3 times the size of hers, and she could not believe that. But even more, she was renting a house in Bettendorf, and when it snowed, she had never had to remove snow, and it was a big snow. It was the 2021, like the biggest snowfall we got. And without asking, without going out, like looking like she didn't know what to do, her neighbor came over and completely cleared the snow for her. And they continued to do that for her through the winter. Not just that, they brought her over cookies. And she said this would never happen in Los Angeles. She was just so amazed.
So, Lo, you bring up a good point about why you love the Quad Cities. I know that JV and I also love the Quad Cities. I'll share with you what I think one of the great advantages are. I did not grow up here, but I've been here about 25 years now, which is really hard to believe. If you would have asked me if I was going to stick around, I wouldn't have really thought that. But one of the cool things about the QC for me is that it's a big fish in a small pond. And what I mean by that is you can get involved and actually make a difference in things that matter to you. And so I've been able to do that here at the Chamber, but I've also been able to do that in my personal volunteering and giving back to the community, where things that I care about, I was able to get plugged in and actually make a difference. JV, I know you didn't grow up here either, but
which I always forget, you guys. I really do, because I feel like we're just like three pals that grew up here. We could have gone to high school together, but it's, yeah, I always forget that. And I think that's a testament as well to how you can move here and you really do become a Quad citizen.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we moved here. It's been more than 25 years. I can't remember how long ago it was now. I've lived here longer than where I lived prior. And I always say that I kind of have my heart in two places because I love and appreciate where I grew up. And we go back quite a bit because I still have family there. But I also really love the Quad Cities, and I love that my husband and I have been able to raise our two boys here. So I actually moved here with my parents when I was in high school, and thought when I went to college I was gonna, move away and never come back. But I shortly realized that I mean, for that short amount of time that I was here, that I loved being here, and that I could actually go to college here. I didn't have to take out student loans to go to college here. I could stay here. I had, got a job, and I started networking, and actually that's when I first started doing things through the chamber, and actually met Jen way back when, doing things when we were in our 20s. I'm going to date myself. But, it's just been great to be able to network and meet people and do things. And had I stayed in the community that I was at before, much bigger city, a lot more people would have not had the same opportunities, and to be able to do the same things that I've been able to do, and even just our family to be able to afford the lifestyle and the things that we do now, because I have friends and family that are still in a different city, and they have great lives as well too, but it's just a different lifestyle. It's just a different way of doing things. And I love being able to do what we're able to do.
Awesome. Well, as our viewers can tell, we could gush for a very long time about the marketing and sales team, the work we do at the chamber, and just our love for the Quad Cities. But our episode is coming to a close, and I have to ask Jen Walker and JV, Jennifer Verscha. See, I go back and forth, JW, JV, Jen Walker. But could you guys tell me what exciting things are on the horizon?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Take it.
It was the look at each other.
I had to think about that question in advance, Lo. Sorry.
Oh, but by the time it gets to you, Jen Walker, you're going to have a list
Okay.
of 20 things, I'm sure.
There's always fun and exciting things in the Quad Cities. I think that's the one great thing about, one of the many great things I think about living here in the Quad Cities. I mean, there's an event or a festival every weekend, or even during the week for that matter. If you want to go sit outside and listen to music, you can do that. You want to take in a show. There's tons of theater. There's tons of art. There's so many family-friendly things to do. But the other thing I guess I would just encourage you to do, besides when we were talking about the QC, that's where, but you can go to our website as well, quadcitieschamber.com, and you can sign up for our e-news. You don't have to be a chamber member. You don't have to be a CEO at a company. You can just be you. And you can go online and sign up, and we send out e-news once a week, and there's lots of great stories and articles that you can read about things that are going on in the Quad Cities, whether it's a new business that's coming to the Quad Cities, or it's something that we're celebrating. We also showcase some of the events that the chamber is doing, and it'll help get you connected and plugged in maybe to some other networks or groups or different activities that maybe that you would be interested in doing. So
awesome.
I'll take the chamber angle, and there is
Perfect.
always a new story coming out of the chamber. Yesterday, we just announced
one of the largest economic development projects ever in the Quad Cities. We're bringing Fair Oaks Foods to town. So that's exciting. And so why I say that is you never know what's going to come next. Mm-hmm. We have some potential projects in the pipeline. We from the talent attraction and development side,
we're just getting started in that work. We're going to launch some new minority business councils this year. We're going to continue work in bringing together folks to talk about really the number one challenge that businesses are facing right now, which is how do we keep our workforce? How do we bring new workforce? And how do we help to attract people to live here and work here? So, it's a never-ending story here at the chamber. And of course, from our placemaking and place management JV hit it on the nail that, our downtowns are going to be full of fun this summer. And I know, Lo, you probably want to talk about alternating currents.
Yes, I'm so excited. You guys, did you know that the Quad Cities has an incredible 100% free music, art, film, and comedy festival happening in downtown Davenport and downtown Rock Island this August? If you didn't know, now you know, and now you have to be there. I am so excited. This is one of my favorite things to happen all year because it is such a unique thing for the Quad Cities to have, and to just watch the growth that Alternating Currents has seen in the years that it's been happening in our downtowns. It's just incredible. I'm looking towards the future, and I see this festival bringing people from across our nation to the Quad Cities region. It's very special. Please go check it out. Alternating Currents has a Facebook page as well as a website, alternatingcurrentsqc.com. I get to work in depth on all of the marketing, social media, all the Jig'em awards that go on with AC Alternating Currents. So it's a passion project with my work at the Chamber, because I am definitely a music festival kind of girl. So very excited. If you can't tell, what camera's going to pick up me blushing, because I just get so excited to talk about it. So more coming on soon. I believe before AC gets here at the end of August, we will have a special podcast episode talking about, everything that you're going to be able to check out for that awesome weekend. So very excited for that, as well as other Chamber events like annual meeting. Annual meeting is so fun for me because I get to do the social media photo content side of it, but annual meeting is our biggest event of the year. It is an opportunity for us to showcase the awesome work that we are doing for our region all year round. And it's an opportunity for business leaders and our members to come together and sit at the same table and just network and talk. And again, get the inside scoop of all the inner workings of what we've done that year. So I'm very excited for that. That is also in August. So if you see me running around like crazy in August, that is why I'm getting prepped for these awesome events that we have coming up. Well, ladies, thank you so much. You guys are just awesome. I'm so lucky to be able to call you team members and friends. I love the work that we do together. It really is so awesome to see us all work together, because we all have different skill sets in the same skill set. And it's really cool to see us kind of fit together like a puzzle to get the job done, because there always is a job that needs to be done at the Chamber and in this region. So thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to our viewers for joining us for episode 4, Meet the Marketing and Sales Team at the Quad Cities Chamber. We're always so excited to sit down and have these episodes with you guys. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.